Sleep. Come on, focus.
Tonight's episode is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Thank you. Enjoy the show.
Hello, everybody.
I love the viewer discretion is advised. It's like, who's viewing this? Who's viewing this but our friends? And like,
Yeah, well,
but viewer discretion.
Well, actually, the last week's actually did end up getting a healthy amount of views afterwards.
You know what? Shockingly, yes. And so
So there you go. You're such a naysayer.
Me?
Yeah. Who's gonna watch this?
Oh, this is our summertime.
This is fun. This is like recess.
And what I love the most about it is that Xavier, in a shocking turn of events, does all the heavy lifting in this one, and all I have to do is sit here, like
sit there and be down in time.
That's how it works. So
it's funny. It's a surprising amount of people tuned in and then like kind of got freaked out and stopped watching.
Really?
Or I've been told. Well, it was a little bit too much.
I did get
too much reality. Some people, I don't know.
Commentary from some people on YouTube about other things that we should explore looking into. One of them.
Oh, yeah. We're just doing a quick little jaunt during different sort of genres of horror, so to speak. Well, thank you, Shane.
Oh my God, thank you, Shane.
Yes, thank you. So
no, awesome.
$10 makes it all. It makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, and I'm glad you can watch this one live too.
So, a little background on that, what we just saw, is that little girl has an imaginary friend, and I know we've heard it all before. So don't roll your eyes. And I generally take those stories, with a grain of salt, dime a dozen type of. But that girl was exhibiting pure horror. That wasn't any sort of stretch of the imagination. I mean, I think it obviously, maybe there's a little fishing line involved in that, but the kid wasn't in on the joke.
So, okay, first off, if it is a joke,
so really
you suck, and it's really not nice to do that to your child.
Nothing is creepier than those baby monitor cameras, whatever they're called. They are absolutely, even under the most benign circumstances, they're just kind of creepy. It's just, I don't know. You always expect the kid's head to turn in the full 360 or something.
You know what? Totally, Coach. Mo will be sleeping with the lights on tonight. So so just so you all know, I have no idea what.
We know. You keep saying.
So the beauty of this is that Xavier does this all on his own, and he has a mentally wrong mind. And so, and I said to him today, we were talking earlier this afternoon, and I was like, well, you can't just put Gunk in the Night. What's the title? What is this story about? What are we doing? He's like, I don't even really want to tell you.
No, it's not that. It's like, I don't want to be like pigeonholed. I don't want to be paint myself into a corner. If I think something's a little creepy and people have fun watching it, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to theme it, obviously, but sometimes it won't be themed. Like tonight's not really a theme show. It's just a couple of kind of creepy stories, and people can draw their own conclusion.
Indeed. And just as a little programming note, two things. One, for all of you Radio Gunk fans, I am putting up the podcasts for all of June's Radio Gunk, and those will be up before the weekend is up. And next week, we will definitely be doing a Radio Gunk show on the return of Howard from Italy. Some of you were very weird about that, just in terms of thinking that we were stalking him in Italy, like we were the ones taking the pictures.
Yeah, that was us.
We were the ones that were like on Reddit showing the pictures. That we were
Thank you, Sunflower. Thank you for because I don't want to hear about Howard anymore.
I'm also going to get a knife fan.
I don't want to hear about it.
True crime. You guys have covered the Cecil Hotel.
Night.
I wish it was
No,
still a hotel. I'd 100%
Go
stay.
peddle your paper somewhere else.
Are you talking while I'm talking about Sunflower
Yes, I
Dragon?
am.
What she wrote? Why are you talking and while I'm talking about Sunflower Dragon and Gunk in the Night? Thank you, Sunflower Dragon. I really appreciate it.
I was a very, very gracious person.
You're blathering now. You're blathering. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, what's happening tonight?
Are you done?
Done.
Okie dokie.
Done. I'm done. I'm done.
So going back to that clip.
Which clip?
The only one we've shown so far?
Mm-hmm.
That one? So, so the mother claims that kid's been talking to an imaginary friend, but it was getting a little weird. And so she set up that nanny cam, and allegedly that's what was captured. And clearly the kid wasn't in on the joke once again. I've told this story before. When I was a teenager, I grew up in a very Catholic upbringing, and my mom had one of those Tijuana, what are those things made of? Like, it's kind of like that white stuff that breaks real easily that would make statues out of it. What's that stuff called? Whatever.
Plaster?
Plaster. Thank you. Plaster. We had a 12-inch Jesus Christ plaster, and that apparently had fallen, and the head would just snap right off. My mom, being super Catholic, decided she was going to fix it, and she thought it was actually blasphemous for the thing to have broken Christ.
Did you break it?
No. But what she did do is she took some of, because I like doing modeling. She took some of my modeling clay, ripped off a chunk of it, put it between the neck and the head. Boom! Christ has been saved, has risen. The thing is, she didn't tell me that it was broken. One day, I was having I was a teenage tantrum, and I yelled at my mom, and I slammed the door, and I was seeing her because I don't know what she wouldn't take me to the mall or something stupid like that. I was really pissed off, and I look over to my right, and for some reason I make eye contact with that 12-inch Jesus, and his head rotated a full freaking 90 degrees and looked me in the eye. And for that brief 1/1000th of a freaking second, I thought that exorcist type of shit was real. And I couldn't open that door quick enough to run out that room. Had I stayed another full second, I would have noticed that it was because it was warm, the clay had loosened. And so the head just fall off. Yeah, the head rotated, Mr. Dangles, completely 90 degrees and made eye contact with me. And when you're looking at a freaking plaster's Christ, and its head turns on its own, holy crap. So going back to that little girl, like someone said already, there's going to be therapy. There's going to be a lot of therapy in that kid's future, because when you're that kid, that impressionable, and all of a sudden, freaking the streams get crossed, and you think that the boogeyman is real. Man, the boogeyman is real. So yeah.
All right, all about the tendrils. You're insane with your photographic memory that you remember this. It's just insane that you remember this. But yes, he's absolutely right. Monique was born at the French hospital. The nurses were nuns, and Norman named her after Sister Monique, who helped birth our
We are so indebted to Sister Monique for bringing us this joy.
Oh, you're so amazing. And by the way, for all you Brooklynites, we had no malls near us in Williamsburg, Greenpoint. So we would take the B62 bus on Grand Street that would take us all the way into Queens so that we could go to the Queens Mall. And that's where we did all of our shopping. And right next door to the Queens Mall was Macy's. And it was like a circular thing that took you up to the parking lot. And invariably, every single person I know that I've ever been in a car with had hit the side of the curve going up to the parking because it was just so tight. It was just so tight. It was so tight. It was so horrible. So if any of you remember that Macy's that was on Queens Boulevard that we used to take the B62 from, just give a shout out. I don't know why I'm mentioning that. I know we're doing
Yeah, I don't know why you're mentioning it either.
I know, because you were talking about the mall, and I thought it was really cute that your mom would actually drive you to the mall, because my mom never drove us to the mall. Never, ever. I'm just saying. I know we have a scary show to get to. I'm just throwing it out there.
You want to tell a few jokes while you're at it?
No, you asshole. No, you asshole. Coach, see, coming from Brooklyn, Queens Mall was like going to Mars. See? Oh, God. All right. So here we are. And again, I don't have any context for what we're doing tonight. And
it's about the mall, probably.
I just named it Unexplained Phenomenon.
Thank you for doing
very
that.
nebulous with me, just in terms.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we can kind of return to our frame of mind here.
John Doe is talking about the Fixins bar at Roy Rogers across the street from the mall. Do you remember the diner?
Anyway, so we're gonna continue with our show. Monique, are you done? You know you're muted, right? Yeah.
See, that's the beauty about running this show, is that he
yeah.
There's all that, so it's okay.
So anyway, going back to childhood traumas and creepy baby monitors. This next clip is
oh, look who's checking in. Worldwide Ghosts channel.
Yes. Okay, so
I like that.
Let's continue. So this next clip is it's relatively famous on the internet. But it's really kind of just eerie more than anything else. But to this day, no one has come up with an actual explanation as to why this occurred. So let's continue.
Okay. Do I make it bigger?
You go for it. Yeah. Do.
I hate everything about Tom. Now, let me ask you a question. If you saw that on your baby cam monitor, wouldn't you immediately be in that room? First, 2 thumbs up for that child's balance. He's like a flying Melinda.
It is completely bizarre what's going on in this. Even, I mean, like what's going on? Is he even conscious of what's going on? It's almost like someone's holding him, because he look at he literally has like less than 2 inches.
Yeah, he could tip over at any second.
And he is completely just frozen. It's really, and like this clip's been on the internet. The kid's name's Connor. Parents don't know what the hell happened.
Okay, let's see.
And it's just like one of those things where nobody knows why this happened, how it happened, and
it just did.
It just did. Here, let's go back a little bit.
Okay. I would never be running into that room. Oh,
Boy,
can you just go back to where he fell because I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at the
of
chat.
course you here.
Okay, right there. That's good. Oh, and the music is a little creepy from the mobile that's above him. It's like poor Connor. Poor Connor. You know,
Once again, this has been on the internet for a while.
never saw it.
Never. Well, I'm hoping you guys haven't seen some of it. Even but if you have, so what? It's just creepy. Like it. I mean, and when his eyes, the back of his eyes shine in that infrared camera, and that kid looks possessed, man. You know, he could. I mean, how is it possible? Someone, you know, a disproportional head can balance like that. You know,
Jeez.
It's, yeah.
Seriously, I don't even.
Yeah, I think Kilo says it best. The kid can't walk, but he can balance on a beam.
I don't even understand how, like, you know, on the nanny cam, him screaming like that isn't something that immediately.
Well, even if you don't have the nanny cam, you think you'd be able to hear your kid crying like that?
You know, shit.
It's just really, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's yeah. There's dozens of these possessed kids and stuff on the internet, and most of them you can just kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
that one's a head scratcher.
Says
Autobot,
he can't walk, but he
how
can
is that? Please tell us how that's a fake video, because I honestly want to know.
Ah. Mr. Dangles says the demon is wearing a green screen costume.
Yes, that seems about as plausible as anything else.
Oh my God! Same sunflower. Same.
This is
Well, like Ghost says, people need to pay attention to their own senses these days when it comes to the paranormal. I'd be more than happy to talk to you about this. You wanna
Yes.
join us on the show, Worldwide Ghosts, because this is basically about paranormal activity.
Not necessarily, but
if you want to,
we have a couple more. But yeah, it's
let me know and I'll.
And like I said, like I comb the internet for a lot. You know, there's a ton of really good. I love all of them. I love all the YouTube channels, even the corny ones, because you know you watch enough of them, eventually you'll see one and go, wait, how?
See, now I don't believe any of them, to be honest with you. Like I don't
know
in any of this.
Listen, I'm on your side here, but there are 1 in 100 videos. It's a head scratcher, for lack of an explanation. Like, okay, huh, like that clearly wasn't what you think it is, but it's still like I don't know how it happened. How did that kid, for like a solid 30 seconds, balance perfectly on a little piece of wood? That doesn't seem possible.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, once in a while you Rod Serling said it best. You flip a quarter, 50% of the time it's heads, 50% of the times it's tails. 1 in a million, it'll land on its side, and that's kind of that video. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, I don't like anything about that video. Just so you know, like there's
don't.
Nothing about that video that I enjoyed. And so, how long has that been around? Like, how old is that? Do you know?
I honestly don't know. I know it's been around for a while, a few years.
Okay. So obviously Connor is a little bit older now, and
well, he's a kid, you know,
mental difficulties. I can't imagine.
Yeah, you know, you shit your diapers when you're a little kid. You don't remember that shit, you know.
All right, so let's go on.
Let's continue. This next one. There is. I'll tell the corny story behind it, but the corny story doesn't mitigate the fact that this actually was captured on video.
By the way, thank you for doing this.
It's fun. It's fun.
Music. I hate everything about it. What is going on? Oh, dude. Oh! What is that?
So this is Highway 5 in Alabama. And these are just run-of-the-mill truck drivers. And a lot of these truck companies have several cameras pointed at their driver, at what they're driving, for insurance reasons, for nothing else. There's no like ulterior motive to camera. There's probably hundreds of hours of video footage that's recorded every single day from truck drivers. They were driving in the middle of the night, aren't they always? Actually, I think there's a timestamp on there. And they clearly hit a girl with their truck.
Can you back up a little bit? Because
I will
have more of this.
I just want to establish that from the angle that camera is pointing, the 100% walking from work. Yeah,
really walking home.
100% that was hitting someone. There's no.
I need you to stop right when we see it, though.
Oh, I will. I'll let it run the first time. Then I'll stop it when it's.
What is that? I slowed down.
Right there.
Back it up. Just the snurch. Just the snurch.
Oh, you're killing me here.
I just need a little bit. I need. Yeah. Okay, stop. Okay, stop. Okay, more.
Clearly someone walking. And if you look at the line, they are in the lane and there's like one of those concrete barriers on the right. So 100% they hit this woman, this child. There's no, and the reaction is like, that's just a camera that's fixed.
Will they get in trouble? What's the aftermath of this?
Okay, I'll tell you in a second.
Let me see. Stop.
Okay. I'll go back a little bit more.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah. And if you notice, whatever it is, turn their face to see the truck just the last second.
Wouldn't it just be like some weirdo homeless person walking down the road?
It could be, but here's the thing. These are truck drivers. They're at work. They pulled over. They can't just pull over right there because there's a concrete thing. They pulled over when they could.
Mm-hmm.
And they called the police.
And nothing.
And there was no mark on their truck. And there was nothing. They couldn't find one single thing in that road.
Well, maybe they missed her.
There's no way they missed her.
Yeah, they could have missed her.
We didn't hear
any bump.
It's a truck. She is almost a quarter of the way into that lane. There is no space for one of those grip trucks to squeeze past her.
Mm. But why didn't we hear like a thump?
That's the thing.
Shouldn't we have heard a thump?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There should have been a thump.
Right, which would then make me think.
So one of the two. So either the van or the truck that they're driving miraculously made itself more narrow to miss her, judging from where she was in the road, or someone just said she's a ghost.
Dangles was driving.
Oh, Dangles. So here's the other thing. Had they the instinct would be to swerve to the right, correct?
Yeah, but they would have hit the median there.
So that means there would have been damage to the truck on that side. Right? Right? Because they were going to hit that. I mean, unless they were driving on a motorcycle.
I don't know. I feel like I feel like she had on billowy clothing, so the assumption was that they hit her, but
Listen, we all know there's no such thing as ghosts,
we all know there's
but this is a camera it's just a regular those cameras that point at the highway and record what's going on. So
I
it's
just
not
want
like
you
it's
to know there's nothing that Xavier is going to play tonight that I have any thoughts whatsoever about.
yes, absolutely. In fact, let's just put on table from now until Halloween when we keep doing this. Mo will not have any idea,
No,
so we don't have to keep repeating that.
that's right.
So,
That's right.
anyway,
And I lived above a funeral parlor, so I still have
yeah,
no.
yes, absolutely, we love those stories. But so this is, and also, if you were that person, unless you were just 3 sheets to the wind, wouldn't you have had at least a little knee jerk reaction to about to get splattered by a truck?
Yeah.
So that's it's like a hat trick of just weird, yeah. Because
I think they missed her. Is my thought. And
okay,
I don't know.
first of all, it's a truck. There's no truck that narrow, unless they're driving one of those Japanese numbers. Okay,
We don't know
So-
what we don't know.
oh, it's probably it was a grip truck. Just look at the cabin. Let's look at the cabin. And by the way, I'm not here to debate.
Yeah, no. And
Look
that's
at
nor
this.
am I.
Look at so that's a grip truck. That's a grip truck. Those
What does
things
that
are decent.
What does that mean?
Like you've seen those. There's the ones that like the where it tilts forward
Mm,
and the engine's underneath it and stuff like that.
mhm,
It's a decent sized vehicle.
mhm.
Even if it was a F-150, that's still not going to fit in the space between that woman and that concrete thing on the side. Look at where she is. Look where she is. Right there. It would have been impact right there. And once again, unless they were completely plastered, no sort of survival instincts are shown in that clip. So
Yeah, I was just waiting for the thump. That's all.
There wasn't a thump.
The thump.
There wasn't a reaction.
The thump.
And everybody we know ghosts don't exist, but then there's that. And the story behind this, and this is actually something you can look up. There's in Alabama, there's a ghost girl of Highway 5. And it is one of those super, super corny stories where girl on her prom, left the prom upset, got hit by a truck or large vehicle and died. And since then, allegedly,
It's haunted.
she's been spotted on that stretch of road by numerous truckers for many, many years. It doesn't get any more. It doesn't get any cornier than that.
I know, but just think about how many girls had a fight with their boyfriends or
It's
got
always that same trope.
issue and
Yeah, absolutely.
gotten hit by a vehicle.
Nonetheless,
Never
I mean,
heard
we can Google it and we want to really learn more about that story. I don't think there's not much of a takeaway. I think the video is just kind of creepy. Simple as that, and the fact that the police were called and they have to, it's for insurance reasons, they have to report it, or else it's a felony.
Just in case.
And there's no damage to the truck, no signs of anybody or anywhere, and that's
I don't know. I see. Okay, Worldwide Ghost is joining us. So
sure.
I don't know who this is, and I just invited him to join our random paranormal show.
Sure.
So we're just going to really quickly check his audio and all his stuff and make sure he's okay.
Hello.
Oh my goodness.
Hello, Monique, and hello, Mr. Whiskers.
Sup.
Oh,
How are you all doing? Is everybody all right?
how are you?
We're doing good. We're doing really good. We're doing
it's
good.
great
We're
to see
having
you.
fun here.
Many thanks, Monique, as well, for welcoming me in.
So are you one of these with that title, with that name, are you one of these paranormal people?
Well, the thing is, I don't do paranormal investigations. I just collect first-hand ghost stories from around the world.
Oh,
And I'm
that's
writing
great.
a book as well on ghost stories.
Yeah.
You
So
believe in ghosts?
I only include first-hand ghost stories. That are the
Yeah.
true first-hand ghost stories.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Well, I've seen many over the years, so I don't believe I know they exist.
So
You
I
know,
lived above a funeral parlor, and
Okay.
I've had many,
Thank you,
uh,
John. Thank you very much.
many times where, what is it called when you think that you're dreaming and
Uh,
you're kind of
lucid
awake?
dreaming.
Right. And
Yeah.
I had that so many times, I can't even begin to tell you that I
Yeah.
would wake up in a panic where I was paralyzed
Mhm.
and felt like somebody
sleep paralysis.
me, sleep paralysis, and feel like somebody was walking towards me and was about to attack me, and my heart rate starts, pumping furiously, and I
Mm.
feel something right next to me, like I feel it right here, like right here. And then it would just go away, and then I wouldn't remember it again until maybe the next morning or getting on the train and say, "Oh, fuck, what happened last night? Like,
Yeah.
what was that?" But happened at least 6 or 7 times. I
Mm.
mean, yeah, no dead bodies below me, so that was just like a weird thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Do you
That
do
is a
you,
funny
you
thing.
do
Yeah.
you guys remember the first time you saw a dead body?
I've never seen a dead body.
You never have? You never been to like a were you raised Catholic? You never went to an open casket or anything like that?
I've never even gone to a funeral. I went once.
Really?
I went once to my girlfriend's, mother passed away, and I didn't even go anywhere near the casket. I just don't, well, you know the story about me going down into the basement where all the
Yes.
bodies were, and,
There's a fuse, right? You blew a fuse or something like that?
my fuse went out, and we also, used to go to our friend's funeral parlor, but they used to fuck with us all the time. And what they would do, because I think when you work for a funeral parlor, you have no thoughts about the dead. Like you just don't. You grow up around the dead. You have no thoughts about the dead. And I'll never forget our friend Andrew. Um, he's like, "Guys, you want to come see the body?" And we're like, "Yeah, let's go see the body." What do we know? Let's go see the body. And he literally went behind it in the casket and like
Mm.
raised it so that we would think that it was coming out of the casket. And we're like, ah, like it's such a Scooby Doo moment where you just like, were screaming and running out the door. And my last story, where I ghost, but I'm going to let you talk, is that I used to live near this hospital called Greenpoint Hospital. And we knew a guy who was the night watchman in the basement of the hospital. And he always used to say to us, "Girls, you have to come. It is like the creepiest shit down here. It is like so weird and so scary." And one night were like, "Yeah, let's go do it. Let's do it." And we went to the basement of the hospital, and there were jars just filled with like two-headed abnormal babies and like ears and
Oh,
like
they like in formaldehyde or whatever that stuff's called?
yes, in
Like in a
formaldehyde.
jar?
And it was the
Wow.
creepiest shit you have. I see it in my mind's eye as I'm telling you about it. The two-headed baby, which was like kind of deformed, and like the head was like there was only like two eyes, but it was like two heads, and like the body was this big, but the head was like this big. Oh my god, it was like the freakiest shit you ever want to see. And again, one of those screaming, running out moments. But Ghost in particular, worldwide Ghost in
Mm.
particular, when you talk about firsthand knowledge, like
Yeah.
what makes it firsthand knowledge? Because me telling you a story about me with a ghost just means that that's my perception of what happened, as
Well,
opposed to
exactly.
a bad dream, right?
Well, that's right. If you tell me a story, it's firsthand because it's your experience and it's coming from you. And so I only accept a story that's coming from the person it happened to at the time. Okay.
Yeah. So then what makes you feel like that it's real versus
Well,
something that is just bullshit?
If I feel it's not real, I won't include it in the book.
So give me an idea of something that give me an idea of a story, because I love this and I will promote whatever it is that you wind up doing. So just keep in touch. But give me an idea of something that you think is like legitimate story that you find to be fascinating in terms of the ghost world?
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's hard at times, to separate the fake and the truth. It's very hard because even a lot of the these ghost hunting channels today,
Yeah.
they come out. They've got so many thousand
It's
subscribers.
all gimmick.
It is, yeah, that's right. They've got
It's
all
all
these
gimmick.
gadgets, and they come out. Oh, this is true. This is true. You can do this, do this. We found these many ghosts here and there, and most of the time they haven't. We found a demon, ladies and gentlemen, tonight in the house. Stay tuned. We have a demon.
Yeah.
That's right. This is what we see all the time. But as soon as you can, I don't take any of these sort of paranormal investigator accounts.
So give me an idea. So
I don't believe them personally.
Well, here, let me repeat. I've told this story before.
Okay.
Mr. Worldwide Ghost, tell me what you think. As a lot of you know, there is a tombstone in my backyard. It came with the house when I bought it.
which is so
And forever the joke is there a body underneath it? Like, I don't. And everybody eventually comes to the poltergeist. Don't F with the headstones. Leave it be. And I got such a good deal on the house that I don't for myself. I don't care. Ghosts can come with it. I don't care. 6 months after I bought the house, I was commuting a lot, and I would get home. And the way my house is, basically I have 2 living rooms, and there was times I would come home really tired, like literally just been up for 24 hours. Come in, the first thing I do is just the couch downstairs is the easiest target. Crash, and I did that quite a few times. One time I was sleeping and I was just completely gone, and it was around like 10 o'clock in the morning, and I feel something tapping me on the shoulder.
Right.
And I just kind of ignore it, just because you're just, when you're in that half awake, half asleep. Well, you're just kind of like,
yeah.
Anyway, I ignore it. 5 minutes later, I get tapped on the shoulder again. And this time I lift my head up really quick. Obviously, I'm in the room by myself. And it was like, okay, 100%. I'm just exhausted. Is this exhaustion physically manifesting itself? The next week comes, do the exact same thing. It happens again. I get tapped on the shoulder. And it's just like, okay, this is a little creepy. Whatever. You start thinking, wait, tombstone. I made jokes about, ghosts coming with the house, whatever. So I started getting, so then I started just kind of creeping myself out whenever I would go down and do my laundry. It's just like, you get that feeling like someone's watching, someone's like somewhere in that room with you, but you're not, your brain tells you, okay, this is absurd, but you feel it.
An energy there.
So,
that's right.
So it just happens that the NFL playoffs started the next week. And one of my friends comes over because we're watching, the wild card game, and they bring their daughter who's like 4 or 5 years old. And downstairs, I had like, the Xbox and the PlayStation. So it's like, okay, little kid, you play on the video games. We're going to watch football upstairs. Like, okay, sounds like the perfect plan. High five. Let's get some beers. So we're up there watching the game.
Sorry, Mrs. One moment. I just want to read Sunflower Dragons.
I know. I'm reading along as well.
Yeah, that's it. We can't prove a negative, thus we cannot prove ghosts don't exist.
Ooh, good one.
Prove they do is another story. I, for one, hope they do. Well, Sunflower Dragon. So, I'm sorry, Mr. Whiskers. I had to jump in to read this.
No, that's okay. We had nothing but time. This is a fun show.
Well, that's right.
So let me put a button on my story.
Absolutely with Sunflower Dragon.
Yeah,
you've got science. Try to prove one thing and try to discount spiritual activity, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And,
look at Lauren Marie. I live in my husband's childhood home, and my brother-in-law took his life in our garage shop on our property. It was awful, awful. We still think about it every single day. Lauren, has there ever been anything that you have felt in the house, or that you feel like his spirit is still there? I mean, it's awful. I can't even imagine that that's a place where you live, where that happened on your property. I can't imagine staying there. Be honest with you, I can't imagine staying in a home where a death occurred. Where the death in your home, especially when it wasn't something where they died of old age, or
yeah. Because if you're not gonna live. You're never gonna live in the poor side of town if you do that.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Lauren Marie. She says, yes, we had occurrences for months after he passed, and one day it stopped. So, Lauren, give us a little thought about that. Explain to us occurrences. Yeah, it's always so weird to me when somebody dies on property or
Ooh.
in your home or something like that. Do you think Worldwide Ghost that's pretty much the predominance of when ghosts occur is somebody that died in the home or was left there?
Well, it really is. You've got two types of hauntings, really. You've got residual, which is like a residue, and it's not really a haunting. It's a recording, really, into the fabric of the building. And then you've got intelligent hauntings, and then you've got poltergeists, then you've got demons, and it's many subtle layers, that come below a haunting. So you have to figure out which haunting you've got really first. If you ask questions, with a recorder, say, "Do you know me?" Press record. Who are you? If you get intelligent responses, it will be an intelligent haunting. But at the same time, if you don't get intelligent responses, but you get a certain haunting or a certain knock or a door opens at a certain time, maybe every year, on anniversary of the year.
With that in mind,
the person dies. That's it.
With that in mind, I'll finish my story because I think the end has a lot to do with what you're saying. So as we're watching the game, all of a sudden we hear bloody murder downstairs, screaming like when little girls scream with that primal yell.
That's
we run downstairs. We thought, oh shit, something fell on her or whatever, something happened. Run downstairs. She is freaked out, just completely freaked out, crying. You can't even console her. And finally, after about a minute, she calms down enough that she can talk. I said, what's going on? What's going on? Are you okay? She says that there was a voice coming from the wall.
Oh.
And it was talking to her. And just then,
yes,
the hair stood up on my back because I don't believe in ghosts. But all of a sudden, this kid's telling me that she's hearing a voice from the same spot where I felt several taps over the last couple of weeks. And it just, I knew from, the stories I've told about my relatives scaring me as a kid. I said, listen, this is an old house. You were just hearing your dad and I upstairs cheering for the football game. And so when you come upstairs and you have a soda, just sit down and watch the game with us. And she finally did come down. But man, that stuck with me for a while. And several months later, I found myself in New Orleans. I've visited New Orleans quite a few times in my time. And there was, I don't know if it's still there, it's called the Zombie Museum. It's in the French Quarter. And I've been through there several times. And it's one of those novelty. It's got a lot of touristy stuff, but it's got a really weird, creepy stuff in there too. And I remember because I had a few drinks with me that night, I'm gonna go ask the owner what the hell's going on in my house. Long story short, she ends up telling me that when people die, kind of like what you're saying, sometimes they don't know they're dead. They don't know that they have moved on to the other world and they're kind of stuck, and they repeat.
Right.
They repeat. They're in a loop. And so, like you said, certain things happen on either an annual basis or monthly basis or 10-year cycle, whatever. Because she said time's irrelevant to them, but they're just stuck. And she said the best thing you can do is go down to that room and tell them, hey, you live here now. They need to move on. And it's so corny. It's so corny. But I remember when I came back, and once again had a couple of beers. I actually said it just as a lark, and that was it. Nothing ever happened after
That's
that.
simplistic, though. Like seriously.
I listen. Is corny.
Oh, okay.
It's corny, but the logic being is that someone doesn't know they're stuck, and you just say, "Hey, you're stuck. Move on."
That's it. Move
So
on. That's right. But the thing is,
yeah, and as simple as
an
that.
intelligent
Because
spirit.
if
Yes.
I honestly
Okay,
believe,
well,
listen,
go ahead. Go ahead.
we all know how the thing about ghosts is probably fake. But if let's just say for the sake of argument that there are ghosts, people aren't going to come back as these malevolent beings. It's just someone that's just if a ghost exists, it's just people that just continue on with their routine, like the zombies they were when they were alive, And so, I mean, that's the way I look at it. And someone once told me when something really negative happens, like a mass shooting or something like that, that it's such a negative imprint on wherever physical location that was, that sometimes something is left behind. There's a residue, kind of like
There
a
is.
negative. So,
Absolutely.
that's just my 2 cents.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Mr. Whiskers. That's right.
Well, I'll tell you something weird that I would feel is that there's been a couple of times in my life where I've gone somewhere, and I think this is why I have an aversion to funeral parlors, hospitals, sacrificial places, is because you feel it. Like you
Yeah.
absolutely feel that there are things there. Like I remember being in Hawaii once, and we were all doing this trip like off the beaten path, and they take you up to this really high perch on the island of Hawaii, and it's where the indigenous people used to do like these sacrifices, because everybody did sacrifices back in the day. That's what you did. You sacrifice
right.
firstborns, you sacrifice the young, you sacrifice the old, whatever it is. And apparently it was like a huge place for sacrifice. And I swear to God, as soon as I got up there, I was like, I don't feel good. Like, I don't feel good at all. This is really, there's something here that is just not good. You just feel sick inside. And same thing when I was in Egypt last year, the tour guide took us to this place where there were like all these sacrifices that were allegedly made and whatever. And I was like, I don't feel good in here. And she's like, it's kind of perceptive of you because this is where a lot of sacrifices were done, so there's always been the thought that like spirits roam in here. And I'm like, I feel sick to my stomach. And I went outside and I just threw up. And it's just one of those weird things. And it means nothing, honestly, in the big scheme of like ghost spirits and stuff like that.
That's it. The thing is, over there, they've got a lot of stone as well, so when an energy is snapped from the body, it gets recorded into the stone, as well. So you got recordings of death, and you've got intelligent.
But even historically, like that, like so old, like so.
That's it. It still happens because they've got a lot of iron oxide in the stone over there, so that records energy. And also, the area records the spiritual activity at the time. So you got two types as well, because the energy was snapped away. You've got
residual.
You got residual, and also you got intelligent as well, because they don't know they've died. So you got both aspects. Yeah. So it seems like it's doubly as haunted, but it's not really.
I mean, that makes perfect sense. If you, if you're just in a car crash, you're dying, but when you actually die, you don't know. And the brain
exactly, that's right.
Conveniently clicks that switch off. So you the actual moment of death, you have no actual conscious thought of.
Yeah, but the thing is, the death isn't recorded into a car.
Because I understand what you're saying.
But it's recorded into the area. So if the car is taken away, but in the area, you can still see the spirit walking around the road, around the highway and around the embankment, maybe wherever it happened.
Yeah,
it's the residual.
That's your question, Worldwide Ghost. So and we have the other clips to play, but has there ever been one that you have seen on the internet or anywhere around that you would say is something that is legit or has no good explanation for it? I'm just curious what your thoughts are.
Oh, it's hard to say really because I don't really pay too much attention to certain, you know, individual things, unless people come to me really. But I've had plenty of experiences that I know, that aren't residual or intelligent, this or the other. But which was on the internet? Let me
I
see.
think this next story will resonate with you guys, and I think this will definitely give you food for thought. This one I'm going to kind of narrate. Okay, this is a story of Christine Skubish, and this story is Christine Skubish, and this story has been around for a while to the point that what's that, Robert Stack Unexplained Unsolved Mysteries actually did a segment on this because it was just such a weird occurrence. And I guess at the end of the day, it's just a weird occurrence. Yes. Okay. On June 6, 1994, 23-year-old Christine Skubish and her 3-year-old son, Nick, were driving along Highway 50 in the Sierra Nevada mountain range in California when they vanished without a trace. Christine was a single mother who had recently earned a paralegal certificate and was also hopeful in marry Nick's father. She left her family home in Sacramento on June 5th, headed to Carson, Nevada. She was reported missing on June 8th by her stepfather. As you can see, it's a 2-hour drive.
2.5.
2.5-hour drive. But unfortunately for her, she started her trip at midnight. So I think that had
what is wrong with her?
Yeah. She was reported missing on June 8th by her stepfather, David. He called the police to take a missing person report on her disappearance. An investigation began in the case, but no leads initially turned up.
Okay. Who's that?
That's her. She obviously had dyed her hair. And that's her son, Nick. So when the father called, they checked all the emergency rooms, all the hospitals from Sacramento to Carson City. Nothing. She had essentially disappeared. And the thought that everybody had is in that part of California, it's hot during the day and it's bitterly cold at night. So the fact that she had disappeared on this isolated route had everybody thinking the worst. Which brings us to this.
I'm sorry, where was she going?
She's going to Carson City.
Why?
I don't know. Carson City is one of those places. It's like Reno.
Yeah, I get that, but
it's one of those places. So yeah.
But she's going there at night with her child.
Yeah. So this is Bullion Bend Road. This will be prominent in the next.
By the way, everybody is sharing like ghost stories and like crazy stuff, and some folks have been saying,
"Sure,
I saw my grandfather's father who died years before I was born. Never saw a photo, and she made me describe the man. My mother was an artist in sketch."
Well, people should really hold off on this until
we'll come back. We'll come back.
Yeah, absolutely. We got all the time. We can do this as long as we want. This is fun.
Yeah, we'll come back.
So 5 days after Christina and Nick disappeared, a woman named Deborah Hoyt and her husband were driving along Highway 50 late at night. They were singing to keep themselves awake. Suddenly, Deborah saw a woman lying on the side of the road. She was laying on her side, her knees slightly abend. She had one arm underneath her head and the other arm on her head. The Hoyts were dumbfounded. They thought they might have been on an obscure practical joke, or worse, a trap to hijack the car. They stopped at the nearest phone booth to call the police. Within minutes, 2 cruisers were on the site where Deborah had seen the woman's body. However, without a landmark to pinpoint the exact location, the authorities found nothing. The next morning, some began to suspect that the sighting had something to do with the disappearance of Christine and Nick. At the urging of their family, Deputy Rick Stazer decided to investigate further. He figured that it might be easier to spot something in the daytime. Deborah had pinpointed a particularly dangerous stretch of the Highway 50 known as Bullion Bend. As Strasser drove in the area, he noticed a child's black tennis shoe on the side of the road. The area next to it had a steep embankment. He decided to pull over and search there further. At the bottom of the ravine, he discovered the twisted remains of Christine's car.
So some woman saw an apparition in the road, but she wasn't really on the side of the road.
He checked her and discovered that she was dead.
Yeah.
He went to the passenger side and more important, she was seatbelted in. He went to go check on Nick. Nick was blue and in a fetal position. And Strasser assumed that Nick was.
Oh my God, he survived?
Strasser immediately called for an ambulance. Nick had been alone in the car for 5 days. Police believe that sometime after 2 a.m, June 6th, Christine fell asleep at the wheel. She drove off the road and crashed her car at the bottom of a ravine. Due to the incline, motorists drove past the accident scene for days, unaware of it. Strasser said that he spotted the boy's tennis shoe on the side of the highway Saturday and found the car. He believed the boy at some point climbed from the car to the highway and then returned to the car. That is the only explanation for the shoe on the road. Christine had been killed instantly. Nick was alone with no way out and no one to talk to. Christine's mother believed that he spent the time talking to her, unaware that she had died.
Oh. So what happened after the death? When was that? Which year?
This is 1994.
Did she die?
Yeah, 94.
Yeah.
94. Okay.
Yeah,
So what laws changed after that with regards to highway and
nothing. I mean, she just probably was driving tired and fell asleep.
Yeah, driving down, fell asleep.
Yeah,
died.
she probably didn't know what.
Yeah,
she probably didn't know she died.
That's right. So
Okay.
that's probably why she could be seen to this day in that same area, because the energy was recorded into the atmosphere. And
yeah, well, this person and her husband spotted the lady on the side of the road 5 days after it happened.
Yeah.
Okay. Against all odds, he had survived.
She still seemed alive at the time.
We don't know. Against all odds, he had survived 5 days in blistering heat and 4 nights in cold, dark solitaire. Doctors who examined him believed that he would have had an hour or two left to live had he not been rescued.
Maybe the mom's spirit stayed with the kid.
The strange circumstances that saved Nick's life seemed to defy explanations. If Deborah had not seen the woman on the side of the road, he would have not survived. It seems impossible for that to have been Christine, as she was still fully clothed and wearing her seatbelt. Furthermore, Strasser believed that she was most likely killed on impact. Deborah is certain that she saw a woman on the side of the road. She and Christine's family believe that it was her spirit who saved Nick that day.
I wonder what he remembers of it. Exactly what Ellie.
Oh, he has done interviews. I'll tell you when this is over.
Oh, okay. Let me go back to the full screen. love your music. It's so cute.
So there you go. Like, whether you believe in ghosts or not, the fact that this woman, and keep in mind, they were singing songs to keep themselves awake. So they themselves were drowsy driving. So could they have just imagined that? Maybe, but that doesn't change the fact if it wasn't for that kid would have died.
Yeah. I mean, they would have never known where to look. That's not even like a something.
Yeah.
Uh,
And if you look on the internet, because this, people have pondered on this bizarre, it is confounding that it happened the way it did. They interviewed the teenage Nick as a teenager, and he goes into he saw a light next to his mom and that kind of stuff, which I think, I don't know, maybe he's just trying to make
I think that's
feel
a false
better.
memory.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can draw any conclusion you want. It doesn't change the fact that he was saved because of what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. All right, let's move on. I'm so excited.
Okay, this will be our last story, and this one is narrated. And this one is just kind of messed up because we run a forum, and we see all kinds of people come and go, and we have some really funny people. We have some people who are just like it. The majority of people just come and read the silliness.
Yeah.
And then you have people who just become obsessed because they feel like they're somehow being on a forum gives them notoriety. So let's listen.
I hate the story already, whatever it is.
Oh, this is, yeah. Anyway, finishing our last story.
Christine Skubish in a Scooby movie.
Exactly.
Our last story of the night is about a 19-year-old psychopath from Germany and his obsession with 4chan. 4chan, as some of you may or may not know, is a website that is essentially unmoderated and anything goes. Marcel was obsessed with Japanese anime and bringing attention to
4chan
himself.
stuff.
But having lived at home with his parents at the age of 19 and recently having been rejected by the German military, he decided life wasn't worth living. He started to blog about numerous ways of how he was going to do it and decided that bringing a barbecue into his room would do the trick. It did not work. Marcel, being the narcissist and still wanting the attention, he decided that he was going to instead murder someone. Initially, Marcel was hoping to find a female victim so that he could do creepy things to her. After which, he decided to walk over to his neighbor's home where he was greeted by his neighbor's son, Jaden. Marcel asked Jaden if he could help him with a ladder next door.
Ugh.
And Jaden, having been familiar with Marcel, went along to help him. Once they were over at his home, Marcel repeatedly stabbed Jaden over 50 times until he was no more. The German courts heard how Hess recorded Jaden's murder and shared the video on WhatsApp with the message, "I just killed the neighbor's child, but to be honest, my hands bled a little, which is the only thing that annoyed me. I actually wanted to get a girl in here so I could be a darker web user who claimed to know."
Wait, I'm sorry. Stop.
Extremely upset by the images of Jaden's.
Stop. So this dude decides.
19-year-old German teenager.
Okay, so since he decides he's not going to off himself, he's gonna.
He took a hibachi, brought it into his own room, and thought that CEO carbon monoxide poisoning was gonna be the easy way out. He tried. Unfortunately for him, and unfortunately for the rest of the world, it didn't work. So him wanting the notoriety, and he was an attention whore. He said, well, instead, I'm just going to off someone. And his original plan was to get a female so he could do bad things to her and then kill her. So he goes over to his neighbor's house.
These are pictures. Okay, I get this. So what we're looking at here
Is a shoe of
posted
Jaden.
on
It's Jaden's shoe, and it's been pixelized. So just for the record, 90% of the pictures out there I can't put on here.
Yeah, just so you
Yeah.
know, as you're narrating it, it's a little bit difficult to.
Yeah, I know. It'll get better.
So
Anyway,
this seems more like murder mystery rather than
it
you know,
is. It
ghosts.
is.
It really
This
is.
is 100%. This
That's
is not
right.
ghosts.
Of course, that's right.
It's
Maybe
4chan.
creepy shit.
Yeah.
4chan is a
It's
hotbed of
oh,
shit.
it's some scary place that really is. you
It's
know.
scarier than ghosts.
It's
Scarier
of
than
course
ghosts.
that's right. Yeah.
Anyway, so he
Wait, time out. I just have a question for Worldwide Ghost. So
Oh yes.
let me ask you a question. How do you give us a little history on you? How do you find people that will tell you stories about what they've seen and what they've experienced? Like, what's your thing?
The thing is, I can pretty much sense if something's true or false. You know.
No. But how do you
when it comes to
find them?
ghost
Like,
stories?
do you have a podcast? Do you have? I don't know.
Oh yes. Yeah, I've got my Worldwide Ghost channel.
Give it to us. What?
But my last channel was taken down around December, only because of copyright. You know, so I was like, my God, I've got to start again. And I'm like, okay.
So what did you do? Did you restarted it, and now do you have a channel called Worldwide Ghosts?
That's right. Yeah. So I started again in December, and but the thing is, I started the channel in the first place to gather first-hand ghost stories for my book, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty good, you know. People come in, a bit of a chat, you know, do paranormal quiz, you know, ghost stories here and there. You know, we do smooth jazz as well with ghost stories.
nice.
And people also love, you know, Worldwide Ghosts with smooth jazz.
I love it. Will you do
Who
me?
doesn't?
I just sent you an
With
email
ghost stories.
to send me a link to where people can. Oh my God, Lauren Marie just sent me like a story. I'm not even sure if it's something we should play tonight or hope.
Why don't we do it next week?
Oh, it's a long one too.
Yeah. Let's do it next week.
Yeah.
The thing about Gunk in the Night, we're not gonna like we're not painting ourselves into a corner. We're just gonna do creepy stuff, fun.
That's right.
You know, that kind of fun, and we're having fun with it. So
Yeah, it's
one
pretty
week
good.
can be completely different from the other. So we're just here to entertain a few people.
Let's go on with Marcel Hess.
Okay.
His body, a public alert was issued for the capture of Hess, who had vanished from his home, and a national manhunt was launched. Hess decides to hide at the home of an acquaintance named Christopher, who had not yet heard of the crime. The pair played computer games, ate pizza, and fell asleep. But the next morning, 22-year-old Christopher heard of the search for his house guest and confronted the killer. Fearing he may alert the authorities of his location, Hess attacked his friend, stabbing him at least 68
times. I just want to point out there's a pizza right there. That wasn't eaten. and I had to black and white this because otherwise I think YouTube might have had an issue with it.
You stabbed him 68 times.
60. He stabbed him 68
And this was a friend.
times. He was a friend.
Yes.
We had no idea what was going on, and
That's
in
crazy,
the
isn't
morning it was all over the news, and so he found out, and he confronted him too. So that was his
times
reward.
before
Put on pause for
setting
one
his home
second. I'm sorry.
ablaze.
Hey, Worldwide Ghost, I'm going to
Hello.
share with you Lauren Marie's ghost story because it's long.
Oh yes. Oh, let's have a look.
So it might be something of interest to you. I haven't even read it yet, but I'm going to send it to you so that you can.
Okay, yeah. I've been trying to keep it on the chat as well, between going back and forth between
Yeah.
live. Yeah.
It's hard to keep up with
between
everything.
two windows. It really is.
You know what? Because our chatters are usually pretty
I think
spot on stuff.
YouTube needs to sort this thing out, you know.
No. It's
You
just the way it is. I mean, on our normal show, which is about Howard Stern, we have over.
Who?
Exactly.
500 people chatting
I
at the
would
same
say.
time, and it's just hard to keep up. It's just hard
Yeah,
to keep
yeah,
up.
yeah. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So I just sent you her story as well. So maybe if you
All
want
right. Okay. Great. Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
to look at that, and we'll
Okay.
read it next week. All right, go ahead, Xavier. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let's continue. Let's finish this. Let's
Go,
Hoo
finish
hoo. Hoo
this
hoo.
silliness.
Ghost stories. Hoo hoo. That's right.
Hess, for some unknown reason, decided to walk into a Greek restaurant, told the employees that he was the person that the police were looking for. The employees did not hesitate to call the police, and Hess was arrested. Soon after his arrest, Hess alerted the police to the burning flat where they found Christopher's body.
Nice
The
kid.
prison psychiatrist described him as a monster and a psychopath.
Thank you, Monique.
Ultimately, he was
Interesting.
found guilty and given a life sentence. Hess's sister, 22, took to the stand early in his trial. She said, "I have visited him once in jail, but we were not allowed to talk about the topic. Even then, I asked him, 'Do you regret it?' And then he gave cold as ice the answer, 'No.' She told her court her brother became strange and had few school friends after he discovered the internet. During her visit, she said he shouted out loud, 'I am 4chan,' referring to the internet message board was active on. Sandy said, 'I have never seen him so proud before.'"
Yeah, 4chan is a really fucked up place, actually.
It really is. My God, what a horrible place to go, really.
But
Yeah.
it feels a need in some people, in a weird way. And I don't want to like trivialize some of the stuff that they do, but the same way some people turn to sports as filling that need to fill in for that in their lives. They like sports. Some people like music. Some people and some people are just kind of predisposed to being psychopaths or sociopaths, like this guy clearly was, because he never showed any regret at any stage of it.
Psychopaths don't show remorse. I mean, that's
No, that's what makes him a psychopath. He's a narcissist. He's a complete narcissist too. So
I don't know. It's just kind of weird to me, and it's a weird carry on for this show where we would like kind of started.
No.
I
I told you that
Yeah, I
sometimes
know.
it's gonna be a little mix match. What's up, dude?
Hi.
And
Wait, put your volume on. You're on mute for some reason, and I don't know why. Hang on. There you are.
Oh, there we go.
Hi, what's your name?
Craig.
Craig.
Yeah.
Hi, Craig.
Craig, on Worldwide Ghost Channel.
Thank you for joining us, dude. It's been
And welcome in.
You've made this really
Smooth
fun.
Jazz on Worldwide Ghosts.
Yes. Coming up next,
the normal
we have Dizzy Gillespie.
Wait, I need Craig to tell us. Wait, is it Greg or Craig?
Craig with the C.
Craig.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, Craig, give us a story. Tell us a story to take us out of this show tonight.
Take us out. Okay. Well, one particular night, afternoon, I was working in the hotel, and I always felt the hotel was haunted. Because I can always sense these things. Around wherever I go, I can tell if somewhere's haunted or not. So one day I can. That's right.
I'm just reading the chat. I'm sorry.
What they say?
Mo.
Sorry, Greg.
Atmosphere, my friend.
Adams.
Don't interrupt our guest, Mo.
Yeah, I'm
Come
sorry.
on.
I'm sorry.
Use your inside laughies.
I jumped over to see what they're going to say.
Inside voice.
Just be kind, please, people. Be kind.
He's our guest, guys. Come on.
That's it.
Be nice, everybody. All right, go, Craig.
Well, okay. So anyway,
hotel. You were talking about hotel.
Yes, I was working in the hotel, and at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I started my shift. So I started counting the reception till, and then I count the bar till. Okay, so I started counting the reception till. Make sure I tally everything up, make sure everything's all right. And I heard an explosion from behind the bar. I was like, my God, what can that be? So I went to the bar, and a pint glass exploded behind the bar. So I scooped up the glass, put it in the bin, and I went to the bathroom. And as soon as I came out the bathroom, I saw a Victorian woman walking up the stairs. I was like, my God, I've missed somebody. I can always hear somebody when they come in through the front door, you know, because it's a hollow floor, you know, above a bar, really. Hello, that's right, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Welcome in,
Bonus points
welcome
to anybody
in,
who can name him.
welcome in, Mr. Torrance.
No,
Yes.
yeah, he's Lloyd. The bartender was
Yes,
Lloyd.
yes, Mr. Torrance. Your
Your money's no good here.
Your account is perfect, Mr. Torrance. that's it, isn't it?
Sorry,
We should do our own
Yes.
rendition of The Shining. I bet we could do the whole thing.
Yes,
Oh my God, we could do the whole
Mr. Torrance.
I
So
love this.
anyway,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We're at The Shining tonight. That's right.
Overlook, really. I'd give my soul for a drink.
We've arrived. So
All right. I'm sorry.
do please check yourself in.
Can
Any,
we do
any of
Grady
the
next?
rooms you
Can we do Delbert Grady?
I'm not going into a Shining thing right now.
We can do it. This
no.
is our show. We can do whatever we want.
Yes, I know, but I'm a little warm and flustered. From,
You can be Wendy. Wendy, love of my life.
you know what,
Give me
Marcel,
the bat.
there is no relationship between me and Wendy whatsoever. So
Well,
wait,
you're the only chick here, so you know by default.
yeah, I know.
No, sunflower.
So
I'm
what is
very,
something?
I'm very much dead. I've came back from beyond the grave.
Craig is extremely white.
Okay, so can we let our guest finish his story?
Yes.
So, okay, you have not missed anybody. The thing exploded.
Craig, it's all on you, babe.
No, you were telling a story. They say that you know that you never miss anybody who comes in.
Sorry.
Oh no, you were just saying in the story that.
Oh, the story. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and you said you never miss anybody who comes in.
Well, that's right. Yeah. So I always listen out when I go in the bathroom. I was like, oh, nobody's came in, nobody at all. So I walked out of the bathroom, like, okay, brilliant. You know, there's nobody at reception, nobody there, no problem at all. Didn't hear the door, didn't hear anybody walk in, no dinging of the bell, nothing whatsoever. Okay. I walked out and I saw a Victorian woman walking up the stairs, big heavy boots, a shawl, long skirt, long grey hair, with like a scarf following the hairline down the back. I was like,
Braided in, like pleated into her hair.
Huh?
Braided in, like pleated into her hair.
No, it was like long straight hair, really straight, you know, down to like the ass, you know, and yeah, like a shawl sort of thing, you know.
Well, that said, you didn't see her come in.
That's nothing at all. So I came out. I saw walking up the stairs. Yeah. I thought, my God, I've missed somebody. So I ran after the person. I got to the first floor, nothing. Second floor, nobody. I listened for the code on each floor. It would make ding, 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 beep, with the door. Nobody at all.
Ooh.
There was nobody there, ladies and gentlemen. There was no person living there.
But you saw her. You saw her.
I saw the person, and her name came to me at the same time. Mary Ann. Her name was called Mary Ann.
How did the name? It just popped into your head, Marianne?
It came to me.
Just
And
came
then,
to you.
and then later on, I spoke to a medium in Canada, and she told me. there's a spirit in the hotel called Mary Ann that walks past reception even when you don't know she's there. But she recognizes you. And she likes you being in this hotel. Yeah.
Ooh.
That's
How
it.
long ago was that?
But the name that came to me was like, first was like Annie, Mary Ann, maybe, because the breakfast chef was called Annie. And I was like, no, come on. She looked like a witch, this woman, this breakfast chef. She hated me, you know, at the time. Yeah, she hated my guts, this breakfast chef. Yeah. And yeah.
So what made you
Creepy.
decide to do this?
That's one experience at the hotel. Yeah.
Worldwide Ghost, Craig, what made you decide to do this as your
Your thing.
Well, I've been interested in ghosts and spirits ever since I was born, really, because my grandfather used to tell me many ghost stories, you know, growing up. And
Is it like for me? I was raised with a bunch of Catholics, and
yeah,
it's very cultural to tell
Tis-
ghost stories, tell this, tales of warning.
yeah, it really is. Yeah, my grandfather's side's Catholic on that side. Yeah.
Craig, LL is asking, when you encounter these instances, do you notice a temperature change?
Most times, you know, people experience, ghosts or paranormal, anything like that, with a drop in temperature. But not me, no. A raise in temperature. You know,
Interesting.
when temperature goes up, or you get a slight off balance in the ears, that's when
Makes
spirits
sense.
around. Yeah,
Sort of like a physiological event that occurs
that's
chemically
right.
in the
Yeah.
ears,
So
between the ears.
it's not when a drop in temperature. It's not really. They normally say if a spirit's around, they take energy out the atmosphere, and that's why you feel cold. But most of the time, you'll feel really hot when the spirit's around. You know. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's just so different. It's just so weird when you're
Really
in a
is.
place that's old, and you never really feel things like that in, say, a house that was built in 2015 or something like that. It's deep seated into homes that have a history. When I was growing up in Brooklyn, and obviously I lived above a funeral parlor, and down the block from me there was a mother and son that lived next door to where I parked my car. And you would see them every once in a while. They were both very heavy set. They both smelled atrocious. Like you knew you were coming to the house before you even got to the house. But you'd have to hold your nose and go past there because my garage was right next door. I had an outdoor garage at this lady's house. And there was always that smell. And so as you're walking past, you smell that smell. But then, I don't know, came a day where it was like a Saturday.
Wait, are you talking about embalming fluid, or are you talking about actual body?
Just the smell of people smell. People that are hoarders and people that,
Okay. Just like hygiene stuff. Okay.
people smell.
Okay.
Well, one day I was going past the house and going to get my car, and there was a different smell. It was just like a horrible smell. And paid no mind, got my car, went about my business. And the next day, no, I think that night I brought my car in and I'm walking home and the smell was oppressive. And I'm like, how does nobody smell that? Like, I don't understand. Am I losing my mind? Why do I smell such a bad, horrible smell? Not even correlating it to their smell because their smell was different than this smell. Well, of course, it turns out it's the smell of fucking death. And apparently, the mother had died like 2 weeks prior. And then the boy, who wasn't really a boy, I think he was like in his 40s, actually committed suicide when the mother died because he had no reason to live anymore. So he was dead like a week and she was dead like 2 weeks or something like that. And I just didn't understand how nobody else smelled this but me. But apparently, I think like a nurse caregiver person came to the house and found the bodies. And all I could think of is like, am I the crazy one that smells this and nobody else smells that there are 2 dead people like next door to where I park? Nobody could smell. Nobody smelled it. Everybody's like, I had no idea. We had no idea. But how do you
Interesting.
not smell that? Smell of death is very. I mean, if a mouse
You
dies,
can't miss.
how should
It's,
smell?
you don't. Once you smell a dead person, you don't forget what that
You
smell
don't
is.
forget it.
You just don't.
You don't forget it. It's like this acrid.
Yeah, it's just
I don't even know how to
It's
describe it.
like a
So
dead
you
cat
can smell
times
of death.
20.
You know, you can taste it. It's like in
Yes,
the
it's
nose.
thick. It's thick.
It's there.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's
Yeah,
a thick air. It's a thick air
that's right.
of
It's right there. Yeah.
death.
Yeah.
Mm.
Ugh. Ugh.
And not only just a corpse, but like if you've been to, like, I know you haven't been to open casket, but when that smell, when you look at someone that used to be alive and they're not a person anymore, it's almost like a clay representation of them, and that smell of embalming fluid that's permeating through their pores. I remember the first dead person I ever saw was my cousin's best friend, who was 10 at the time, who had drowned at a lake. And back then it was like super poor ghetto. They would use cartons of milk as floaties, the gallons of milk, and apparently they didn't tie the knot hard enough, and the floaties came off, and he drowned. And I remember seeing this kid, and I was 7. I was like, oh, I hope I get to live to be 10 like him. When you're 7, you process things different. But to see this, the first time I saw that, and throughout the years as I saw different people, friends, family who passed away, it's just that weird. It's no longer a person, It's a weird to see a dead person. It's just like
Well, it's no longer live, so it's an inanimate object. It's like my phone. I mean, it's just nothing of any note to you.
Yeah.
So once the spirit's gone, all that's left is the dead body.
Yeah, it's
the
like
vessel. That's all that's left.
Yeah,
the piece of meat, the carcass.
It's like left. Like that 19-year-old boy kid that I saw, who had got his eye blown out, and he died in front of me.
Wax.
And you see the eyes, the fear, the panic, and then it just something about the eye where the iris just.
They say when you die, people know it, like in a hospital or in one of those homes or in one of those facilities, that the toes actually start to curl when you're
that's
about.
Right. Yeah.
And they just kind of start going like this and kind of freeze up, and then it releases. I don't know if that's true. I'm happy to say I've never been around it, and I think one of the reasons I don't see dead bodies or go to hospitals or do any of that stuff is because you always remember who you're seeing as that person. Like, you don't remember the good, anything. You remember this person with tubes in their arms and maybe an oxygen mask or whatever. That's what you remember. That's your last visual of anyone. So I'd rather not see that at all.
Well, I think most people, given the chance, are not going to choose to see that. Sometimes, just happen.
After decomposition is a very lucrative business. I saw a $20,000 plus invoice after someone was there for a few days. Yeah, no, thank you. That's a job I would absolutely never want.
Well, not to sound gross, but I think something like the average person, 7 pounds of you is actually just bacteria that's living inside you. Beneficial bacteria that we use for digestive systems and stuff like that. But once we go, that bacteria is like party. There's nothing to stop us from just eating with this host of ours.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. All right.
This is Gunk in the Night. This isn't.
I am gonna wrap.
This isn't Creature Comforts in the Night. Okay.
I am gonna wrap this shit show up because
I think first of all, before we even think that, thank you, Worldwide Ghosts. Is there any website or anything you want to promote? Feel free, my friend.
No.
Okay, just check you. I tell you what,
That's
moving
it.
forward,
You know,
if you ever want to promote anything, just let us know. We'll promote it for you, bro.
well, I've got the YouTube channel, but you know, I don't really promote very much. to tell
Okay.
you the truth.
Well,
Yeah.
Fair
send
enough.
me the link so I can put it down below.
That's
Obviously,
it. Yeah, many thanks, Monique, for having me up, and Mr. Whiskers, of course.
Yes,
That's
yes.
Xavier.
Thank you, everybody.
That's it.
This
and,
is
and everybody else in chat as well. You know,
yeah, it's
for-
fun
for
to do this. Everyone.
listening to
so next
ghost
week.
stories
I
tonight.
think we're going to do that story that you just received. Plus, let's keep it balanced. Let's do ghosts and bizarre.
I don't know. You pick because I
Yeah,
don't.
no, yeah. I'm thinking. I know I'm going to pick. I'm just thinking out loud.
Somebody had written me about that we should do something on really despicable, awful serial killers from Russia and the Ukraine. Apparently, they're
There's just quite a few.
yeah,
There's quite a few.
but I don't want to know
The
about
army.
it.
No, sorry, I won't say anymore.
Well, Craig, if there's
I
ever a
won't say
time that
anymore.
you if there's a subject matter within the Gunk in the Night spectrum of things that you would like to participate in or add some commentary to, we'd be happy to have you on. Everybody likes
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
melodious
thank
voice
you.
of
Thank
Craig.
you to everybody as well for listening and putting up with me as well.
No, but we appreciate it. Thank you. You know, so rare do we actually just bring somebody in from the
That's
unknown
it. Yes.
kind of hang out with us. But
Well, I appreciate it, Monique. You know, I've always listened to you, and you know, all these channels, like yourself and everybody else.
it's a fun thing to
I
get
always
into
have. Yeah.
with
So,
friends. So thank you,
Yes.
Craig. Thank you for coming on with us.
many
Guys,
thanks.
we're going to leave you now because I think, we've done enough show for tonight. So just some
So
program
we will aim for next Thursday again. We're
Yeah,
going to try
let
to do this
throw out some programming
for
notes.
now. We're trying to because I do want to take this all the way into Halloween at least, and that way Thursdays won't conflict with our regular show once that becomes a thing.
Right. So Monday or Tuesday next week, we will do a Howard Stern show about their return from Italy and all the shenanigans that are afoot with that. And then we will do a Gunk in the Night probably next week, Thursday or Friday. Exactly, Benjamin. We have had enough show for tonight. We appreciate it. Greg, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
And yeah, I don't even have an outro for us. I guess we're going to just do the regular quick outro. But thanks for joining us, and we will see you anon.
Thanks for hanging with us tonight. Please join us for any discussion at radiogunk.com in the forum section. Follow us on Instagram or Twitter at RadioGunk. And don't forget to like this and subscribe to us and hit that little bell so that you know when we're going to have a new show. Thanks.